Hey everybody, this is the Day and Night Podcast. I'm your boy Freshman Feek,
My name is Cody.
and we want to thank y'all for listening in. We got a lot of messages, DMs from y'all regarding our last episodes, and a lot of them were including, asking us if we're single, a lot of messages about relationships. So, we decided to make this episode about relationships. And speaking of that, I want to ask Cody, what's the longest relationship you've been in?
I mean, it hasn't been, 2, 3, 5, 6 years. It's been, probably less than a year, Sometimes I get a little busy or,
Okay.
You want to make sure you're in the relationship with the right person.
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
How about yourself?
Me, my longest I want to say is a little more than a year. I want to say a year and a half. And again, it's the same thing, kind of like what you said. Relationships in the past for me haven't been sustainable in terms of long term. I have a tendency of getting bored easily. I have a tendency of not, unless it's very adventurous and we're doing a lot of crazy different things, keeping it spicy, I tend to lose interest, which I'm working on. But that's one thing for me that I've noticed with my relationships, the constant patterns between each one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
And what do you think kind of the qualification? Like, what do you feel makes a girl wifey material or the one, to kind of make it go from like, oh, just being a friend to, okay, yeah, I can, kind of see myself with this person.
Right. Okay. So from my perspective, one quality that she has to have is inspirational. She needs to inspire me. Like, so she has something, she needs to have things going for her in her life. She needs to be passionate about something, because if she's not passionate about anything, I lose interest really quickly, like very, very fast. Number two, so that's one, would be passionate or inspirational to me. Number two,
passionate about like what?
Whatever she has going in her life, whether it's schooling, she's passionate about progressing in school, whether it's athletics, she's a volleyball player and wants to pursue, going to the Olympics, and she's passionate about that.
So goal-oriented.
Goal-oriented, perfect. That's a good way to put it. That's number one for me. And I'm skipping over the attractiveness aspect, because I would think that's a beginning step for everybody. You want to be attracted to your, to your significant other. But if you want to put it in there, we'll put that as number two for me. I need to be attracted to her. I don't care if the world or society finds her attractive, as long as I'm attracted to her. That's a big plus for me.
You're okay with like a 4 out of 10, right?
4 out of 10 might be a little low. Might be on the low side. But on my scale, she's gonna be a 9 or a 10. But if like my friends think she's like a whatever, oh bro, she's a 6, she's a 7. I'm like, bro, I think she's a dime piece. So that's good enough for me. But back in the day, I used to like my friends would have to think she's also a 10, or else I'm not.
You have to get the homies' approval.
Homies' approval, exactly. But that as I get older, more wiser, I'm not really that focused on society, like how society views my girl. And then I would say number 3 for me is so number 1 was goal oriented. Number 2 is my attractiveness to her, and number 3 is compatibility. She needs to have a good sense of humor, because I like to clown. Compatibility with me in terms of personality, in terms of with the things that we're looking for in life, and in each other. So she needs to align with what I want, and I need to align with what she wants, because it's got to be a two-way street. So those are three things for me that really solidify if this person is going to be compatible with me moving forward, long-term wise. What about you?
Well, I mean, there's a couple things. I mean, obviously, you have to be attracted to him.
So that's your number 1.
Yeah. Okay, maybe not my number 1.
We'll start that list.
Okay. We'll go down the list.
No shame in your game, Playboy. No shame.
All right, we have to go down the list. I say first thing, for being wifey material, basically, I would say personality. Like, you have to have a personality. If I'm going to spend my whole life with you, introduce you to my family, and, we're really going to get serious, and I see myself with you for a long time, we have to be able to laugh, have a good time, kind of really just enjoy each other's company, more or less. And like you said, kind of keep it spicy, and just kind of keep the ball rolling.
Right.
So you don't get bored easily, because that's why, a lot of relationships don't really work out.
Have you had that issue in the past where you lose interest in somebody who you at first like were head over heels for?
Yeah, there's been a couple times where it's like, yeah, she's awesome, everything I wanted, and it's kind of like that. I have like a 7 to 8 month rule. So it's like if you're still excited to see that person and spend time with them after the 7th or 8th month,
Right.
then you're starting to get into the okay, I could see myself with this person type of vibe, But the 6th to 7th month span is like a honeymoon span.
Right.
Is kind of what I call it, where everything is good. There's no problem. There's no arguing. There's nothing of that sort.
Everybody's on their best behavior.
Everything's on their best behavior,
Right.
and then slowly but surely you start figuring it out what their imperfections are and things that you don't like about them, and that's where you really want to see if you see yourself with the person is if you're able to overcome those or say she has this but she has this and kind of weigh out the goods and bads. But personality is definitely probably if not number one on my list.
Okay.
So yeah, personality is very important. I would say family values to me is very important. I feel like now there's still some really good people, and really good girls that may not have like a strong family background, but to me, I'm extremely family oriented. I love my family to death. I would do anything for my family.
Okay.
And to me, I want my significant other to kind of believe in that same thing or be really strong with their family.
Yeah.
Talk with them all the time. I talk with my mom every day, whether it's text or call. I see my dad all the time. I talk with my grandma all the time. So I'm in constant contact with like everybody in my family. So family connection is very important to me. And then obviously attractiveness. Like you want to be attracted to the person naturally. Like you want to be like, wow, like that's my girl.
Because she can be the perfect girl, but if the sexual attractiveness is not there, who you fooling?
Exactly.
Eventually, it's just going to fizzle out.
Exactly. Yeah. And you don't want to just like settle and be like, oh, I'm hitting the age of 30. Okay, I just need to find somebody, something of that sort. It needs to be kind of organically natural, and you have to be attracted to them. Like they may not have to be they don't, you don't want to, date somebody that has, 2 million followers and, is getting DMs from all these famous people and it's getting all this attraction and stuff like that. Like someone that's low key, family oriented, but yeah, those would probably be my three.
Now to that last point, in terms of being attracted, do you care if do your friends need to co-sign on if she's hot enough, bro, go for it, or do you need the homie's approval?
I think it's I think it's important. I think that, sometimes I may be blinded. Like, I may be blinded by what she may actually be, so how someone else perceives her. So, like, my opinion is important, but that's why you always want to bring them around your friends so that they say, oh, hey, man, I don't know. Like,
but you're talking about in a broader scale, so not just her looks. You're talking about just her as a complete person. Like, you bring her around your friends, she hangs out with your friends, and your friends kind of get a sense of who she is as a person.
Yeah.
And they're going to, of course, include, how she looks, but they're, homies usually let you know in terms of, like, I don't know, bro, I think she... Or the homie might even know her from back in the day. Like, she might,
hey, we don't like that.
You don't know. You know what I'm saying? She might be a little promiscuous or whatever the case may be. But, the homie's approvals, is important. Friends' approval. And I think, ladies, you can let us know in the comments or message us if that's important to girls as well, which I think it is. Females want their friends to give them input on, the man that they're interested in. But yeah, I think that's important. I think that's a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, because you think about when you do go through your problems with your girl or your significant other, you're talking to your friends about it. You're telling them like, oh, this is what happened. I don't know what to do. You're talking with them about it.
Right.
So if they meet them and they really like them, they're gonna be on your side, and that's why it's always important that if you really do like this girl, be on her friend's side also. Make sure her friends like you.
Facts.
Because if her friends don't like you, it's all downhill.
Yeah, it's gonna be problems.
So you want to make sure that her friends like you as well as her are very important as well.
Okay, what about family? Now, does your family? How much stock do you put in your family accepting and approving of your girlfriend? And have you ever been in a situation where you really like a girl, but maybe your mom wasn't feeling her? And how do you handle situations like that? Or if it were to happen in the future?
I mean, I've never had like a serious relationship where I've been like, wow, I'm in love with this person. I can see myself with this person for the rest of my life. I haven't really introduced them to my whole family because the person that I introduce to my family
Right.
is going to be the person that I'm going to marry. And if my family doesn't approve, then it's not going to work out. Like, to me, my family's impression or like opinion of her is extremely important to me. Like, that's just me as a person. I think it's one of, if not the most important things
Okay.
to me.
Yeah, that's really good. Same here. I agree. I have, brought a couple of my serious relationships home. Never had a problem with that. I think I'm a good, scout of good human beings. You know what I mean? And my family, if you're a good human being, they're gonna vibe with you. But that is important to me, like family oriented, like you said. I definitely put stock into that. She needs to have a good, strong family support system, because I know how valuable that is. But my family, they love the women that I bring home, and that is important. If there's any animosity between her and my family, like this, just in terms of a long term relationship, unless there's like reason for it, if there's reason for it, and I think I can get through it, that's okay. But other than that, like if my family's not vibing with you, it's probably a sign that it's gonna be downhill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I mean, I've had it in my family where somebody brings somebody and you don't like them. Like, me being your family member, I want you to kind of at least take my input a little bit.
Take it into consideration.
Take in consideration. I mean, if they can change, cool. But I mean, 9 out of 10 times, we're a good judge of character. We'll be able to.
Right.
But my family and friends' opinion is definitely important as well. I mean, there's some girls or even some guys that always have to be in a relationship, whether it's good, bad, ugly. Like, they just always have to be with somebody.
Yeah.
Like, they'll just, if it doesn't work out with one person, boom, the next day they're with somebody else.
Automatically jump into something else
with the relationship. Like, they have to have that attachment.
Yeah. Now that I think about that,
well, like, what are your thoughts on that?
I know a couple people like that, where they can't. I think that's like a symptom of a bigger issue. It's not only the fact that they have to be in a relationship. I think they just struggle with just being by themselves. A lot of people can't spend time with themselves, and I think that's very important. Spending time with yourself, whether it's in between relationships or even during, when you're in a relationship, you got to keep a sense of your own self-identity strong. Be self-reflective, really get to know yourself. If you don't really understand yourself and what makes you tick and what makes, what arouses you or whatever the case is, you can't expect somebody else to provide those qualities that you need if you don't know what you need yourself. So I think definitely, I don't know though. I don't know why some people just can't not be in a relationship. Have you ever met people like that?
I think maybe it's like a self-confidence. Self-confidence, or they always have to be with someone. It's just that I think it's a self-confidence type of thing. Like, you can't be alone. Like me, I cannot have a girl for months, if not a year, because I'm able to stay busy. I'm able to, whether it be workout, school, education, like, focus on myself. There's other things for me to do.
So you find value in other things, and you don't lose your self-value if you don't have another person feeding that to you all the time.
Exactly. I don't have to always be with the girl or always be like, I can find anything. That's sports, hobbies, things of that sort.
Okay.
We can kind of touch on like the different types of relationships. I know there's several different types of relationships.
What's your favorite type of relationship?
Well, I mean, there is like, there's like, like a, so to speak, a friend with the benefit, or there's like a
FWB.
Yeah.
Right.
Or there's like a exclusive where like you don't ask her to be your girlfriend, but like you are, but you're scared of commitment. And then there's like that lovey-dovey type of love, where
where it's like super exclusive,
like everybody knows you, pictures, everything like that. And then there's like the types of relationships where it's just like, it's just you and them, and
so we'll break it down.
All your friends.
We'll break it down.
Okay,
Let's start with friends with benefits. Have you ever had a friends with benefits?
I mean, let's not get into the details, but I mean, I think we've all had.
I think people want to know.
I think we've all had somebody, of that sort.
Right. Right. Yeah. Same here. Especially in college, and the time where you're not in a relationship. I think it's okay. I don't think there should be any. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, it shouldn't be taboo to have a friend relationship, because that's somebody that you enjoy their company.
Yeah.
Both of you are not looking for anything serious at the time being, and you guys just enjoy each other's company. Go out maybe to Dave and Buster's or whatever, hang out as friends, and you guys are attracted to each other as well. But just very casual, something very casual. We all have that. I feel
like you don't have time to give them, because that's, also a reason, sometimes it would be me or somebody else, is like you may not have time to invest all that time and energy into that person because you're working or you're getting education or something of that sort,
That's true. But I think why friends with benefits usually don't last long, it's usually one party not communicating the fact that they're beginning to develop real feelings for the other
that's
party.
usually how it happens, where
right?
It's like you're just like, oh, she's my friend, we're doing whatever we got to do, and then you're like, after a couple months, you're like, dang, I'm actually starting to grow a little bit closer to the person. Maybe I do like this person, and that's for sure.
And I think that's natural, especially if you spend a lot of time with somebody, you're naturally going to grow more feelings towards them. I think it's the communication aspect. You got to let that person know immediately.
Exactly.
So no one gets hurt in the process. If you tell them immediately, like, yo, I think, I'm feeling you a little more. Maybe we could take it to the next level. What are your thoughts? And ask them for their opinion, like, on the situation. If they are not at that level, then both of you guys know that at the same time, and then you guys can continue to talk about it and take it the next step further. Or maybe one person might want to remove themselves. So friends with benefits, I think, is a good thing, as long as you have, like, maybe every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, have like a check-in, like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, we're still comfortable in our situation, or, you know what I mean? Or every month, or whatever the case is.
Yeah. And I think it's more or less the time, and, and a big thing, a lot of people are scared of commitment. A lot of people are scared to jump into that relationship and put their heart all on the table and, get their heart broken.
Right.
So I think a lot of people are scared of commitment. I mean, I learned about myself, sometimes I am scared to kind of commit to, one person and just dedicate my whole time. And then what if they end up, cheating on me, or what if they end up doing something, it kind of, breaks your heart. And I think that there's plenty of people that are just scared of commitment.
I agree. And I can only speak for men, for the most part, and not all men, but I think that's an issue with a lot of men. We play nonchalant sometimes because we don't want to fully invest our hearts into somebody when we don't know. We may not know their true intentions, and even if we do, it's still difficult to kind of lean, to jump all the way in. And but I've noticed with myself and other people as well, having that, like, that hesitancy to jump in all the way and just, like, let go, that could hinder you from potentially growing with somebody. You know what I mean? Where that person may have been the right person.
Yeah,
for
they
you,
may have been the one, but
one.
you kind of overlooked it and you weren't in the right mindset. Because as you've told me, what's the perfect girl if it's not the perfect time?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's a great. I think the great philosopher Drake, I think, told me that. I think that was Drizzy. Drizzy Drake said, "What's the perfect girl if it's not the perfect time?" If it's not Drake, I'm sorry for whoever is the artist that said that, but I did hear that in a song and it resonated with me, because when I heard it for the first time, I was like, I thought about somebody specific, and I'm like, man, if I were to meet them right now in my life, I would have married her already.
Yeah, you think about the people that you've met in the past, and you're like, dang, but I mean, she may have been the perfect girl, but it wasn't perfect time.
Perfect time, exactly.
I mean, and then you also have those lovey-dovey relationships where it's just like, oh my God, this person is just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's good. It's cool. I mean, it's for some people, but I think you also need to have like a balance of being with your friends and your family, and you can be in your relationship. But some people are like just so dedicated to their significant other that they kind of just ignore their friends and their family, and they kind of just go MIA. So it's like it's like you can have that person can be your best friend, and then they meet the love of their life, and then they kind of just gravitate only to them.
So let's stick on that. So, because some people would say, and I think maybe this is that's a specific topic where people will think differently on. I think some people are in your camp where you need to not totally isolate your friends. You need to spend time with your girl, but also spend time with your friends and your family, and really, time management in all those departments. Other people think that your significant other, once you meet them, like they're the one and only. Like you need to dedicate like 90% of your time, to that, because that's potentially going to be your new family in the future. You know what I mean? So you're definitely a believer of that. You need to have a variety of, you need to manage your time.
You need a balance. Just like you can't just only work. You need to have, balance of work and social life
and leisure and yeah.
So I don't think the whole lovey-dovey, dedicated to that significant other is the best option. I think you do need to have a balance of everything.
So that kind of speaks into,
and that's a healthy relationship.
Yeah. That plays into something we touched on earlier, where it's you need to really you need to balance your life and not lose your sense of self when you're in a relationship, because a lot of people forget who they are, what they cared about before they jumped into a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a successful relationship is two individual people coming together and feeding each other, positive energy. But if you're totally dependent on your significant other, whenever they're gone, you have nothing to do with your life. That's never a good recipe, for success. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
I agree with that aspect.
And what do you feel like the goods and the bads of being in a relationship can be? Start off with the goods.
The good, the good is great. The good is you learn about yourself. Honestly, when you're in a relationship, the person, if it's the right person, they're going to bring the best out of you. You're learning about them. You're learning about how to compromise. You learn life lessons when you're in a relationship. So I think that's a plus. You're having the best time of your life. When you're in a great relationship, you totally enjoy the person's company. And the bad is I guess the bad are pitfalls which you can avoid. So one of them is what you just mentioned. The bad part could be you may lose other aspects of your life. You may just totally forget about your friends, your family. So if you learn to avoid that, I think, you can avoid that part of potentially being a bad part. And also the growing pains also. From one perspective, you can perceive it as being a bad. So the growing pains, when you learn about yourself, you learn about, in terms of being a relationship, maybe I have like a couple selfish tendencies where I need to be selfless more. So learning about that while you're going through it it's tough. It's tough, being really introspective and learning about yourself. So that aspects of it could be deemed as like, the growing pains are gonna hurt a little bit, but it's gonna make you a better person at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, I think the good is that obviously you fulfill certain aspects of your life that you're not able to do while you're by yourself. So that compassionate love, spend quality time with someone of the opposite sex. That's really good. And then just having somebody, it's like your best friend, but someone of the opposite sex. So right. I think, the good is, that compassion, that, that stuff like that, and anytime you can just like, oh, let's go on a date, spend quality time with somebody, like, and it's different than hanging out with your friends or your homies, like, oh, let's, and I think that's a really good aspect. And you can start a family, you can, get married, start a family, have kids,
right?
And you're loved, somebody, no matter what, they're going to love and appreciate you. The bads can be, like you said, other aspects of your life may be kind of taken out, so to speak.
They might not keep up with how much time you have.
Exactly. Other things may be eliminated, and other things is you put yourself at risk for being heartbroken or things of that sort. And the healthiest relationships are the ones where they overcome those like things. You know, like forgive and forget.
Yeah.
Type of thing. But bads could be, you get yourself heartbroken. But I think that's just all part of the relationship aspect. Okay.
Where do you think are the best places to find when you're single, but you're looking for something serious? Where do you think is the best place to find quality women?
Trader Joe's, Whole Foods.
So grocery stores.
Grocery stores. Gyms.
Because we go out a lot, but before the whole quarantine, we'd go out to bars, social gatherings, but lately, I don't know. That may not be the best place to find somebody who you want to take, seriously for the long term.
I think it has to be, or kind of just naturally. So like things that you like doing. So if I like
Great
playing
point.
basketball, then I'm just gonna just do what you like and do your everyday routine. And wherever you meet somebody is wherever you meet somebody. I think when you do meet them at like a club or a bar, they have intention. They may have different intentions,
Right.
because
And that's not to say, that's not to say that you can't find somebody who's like your soulmate at a
But
bar
that's a
or
diamond
whatever.
in the rough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
I think just naturally, like if you're going to a grocery store or you drink almond milk too,
almond milk. That's
So
hilarious.
I mean, it just has to happen naturally. You can't really, and I think some people look for a relationship like, oh, I need to find somebody, like, and they're just on the hunt, and the first person they meet, like whether it be a girl or a guy, they're like, oh yeah, I need to wife this person up or this and that. Like,
yeah.
you have to really like you're talking 50, 60, 70 years with this person,
That's
so
a
I
fact.
mean, you'd rather have your family and friends. I mean, I think 35 is the max
In terms of
until you need to like start a family, more or less. I mean, some people want to start things at 16. But I mean,
teen mom.
like,
But no, I mean, yeah, that's true. I don't know
there's
if
a
there's
limit
specific...
of an age. Like, what do you think the age limit is for yourself?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really put an age limit on myself because then, like what you said, when I put out the age limit, as I get closer to
You
it,
may have to
that's
settle.
when my mind is like, oh, I look kind of like this girl, but I'm 34, turning 35, so now I gotta, really take it seriously, and she may not be, 100% compatible with me. So I don't think I don't look at it in terms of age. I just look at it on how I feel. You know what I mean? So if I'm in the mental space where, like, I think I want to, settle down now, I'll start moving accordingly. I'll start, interactions with different girls. I'm asking different questions, really trying to pick their brain, get to know them, But that comes with how I feel inside and what my readiness is, So yeah, I don't necessarily put a specific age on it.
How many kids do you want? Or what do you think like the normal?
I want like 3.
3.
3 is a good number.
Boys and girls.
I would love my first child to be a son. Matter of fact, if I don't have a son within 3 children, I'm having a 4th. If I don't have a son within 4 children, I'm having a 5th.
Yeah. You're gonna do it like Kobe, huh?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
Just keep going until the boy comes out.
Exactly. Kobe says it doesn't matter if you miss 7 shots in a row. You know the 8th one's going in. If you miss that 8th one, or that 9th one, that one's going in.
I was gonna keep popping them out until I hit a boy.
Of course, my wife. Hopefully she understands how important it is for
to have a guy.
I don't know if it's all men, but a lot of men, we feel like we want to pass down our
not only our last name,
but it's something deeper than that.
Yeah, you have a connection, like you want to teach him.
I want to teach. Exactly. I want to teach him the world. But yeah, I think 3 kids for me. What about you?
I mean, I'd like to have twins. I think that would be kind of a cool thing.
I don't know if you can just like, kind of just. I don't know if that just happens because you think it, but
maybe. Yeah, I think 2. For me, 2, I think is good.
Oh, what if technology? By the time you're ready to have kids,
I don't think so.
Would you do the, little wiring and what's it called, like in vitro or something? That might not be what it's called, but they have procedures where I think they can strongly heighten the chances of you having the twins or.
I don't think I want that. I think I want it to be more natural. More of a surprise.
Yeah.
And do like the whole gender reveal and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
But to me, I'm not gonna have a kid unless I know she's the one, unless I'm married, and I know I can financially support myself and the family as a whole.
Okay.
So that's kind of like the last step.
Yeah.
In the thing, I'm not gonna just like, oh, she's the one, I'm gonna have a kid. Like, no, it's a process.
I like that. I had a question for you. Oh yes. How important do you think it is to live with your significant other before you get married? Do you think you should live together for a year before you propose, or do you think you can propose to somebody without like having lived with them first?
You definitely have to live with them before, because I mean that's a big deal, like it's so different seeing somebody every so often than actually living with them every
Correct. Day. You really learn who the person is when you live with them.
Exactly. Yeah. You really know kind of like, just like everything, about them. So I think living with them for about a year to 2 years. I think being in a relationship, I mean, you can't really put a time frame, But depending on like if it's just like working out perfect,
Right. That's true.
Months,
Yeah. There's always exceptions.
Yeah. But like in general, I say know her for like a year, a year, 2 years
minimum. Yeah.
As a girlfriend, and then
move
even as a person, just know her like as a friend for a year, 2 years.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And then maybe ask her to be your girlfriend because you want to get past that honeymoon stage.
Right.
And then after maybe a year, 2 years, maybe start going even more serious. It all depends on the vibe. You can't say like 2 months, 3 years.
Yeah, there's no.
I know people that have been in a relationship for 10 years and they're still not living together. So it's like
that's a good point.
It's all. And
I know some people who have been married for ages, and they got married after like a month of knowing each other, not living together either. So there's always going to be exceptions to that rule. But in terms of like generalizing, live together for like 6 months or until you guys are comfortable and you guys have like taken off the on your best behavior type of act. You guys are really getting to know each other. What annoys you? Because sometimes you might live with somebody and the smallest things.
Like a total OCD,
total OCD, and you need to know that about people. If you leave a fork in the sink, she flips the fuck out. You know what I mean? And you got to be honest with yourself. Like, damn, is this something that I can live with for the rest of my life? You know what I mean? Or the opposite, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you think, like another topic, like why don't you think that some relationships last and some don't? Like why do you think some are really good and really strong and other ones aren't?
That's hard to say. I think that some people. I think one big thing is that a lot of times people get into relationships when they're not ready to be in a relationship. A lot of people cheat because of that. Mm-hmm. Cheating, is very big. Some partners can look past their partner cheating one time and forgive them and move forward. Other times that's a deal breaker for other people. But that comes with not being honest with yourself and knowing that you're not ready to be in a relationship. Like if you're not ready to commit to one person, then that's not fair to the other person in not telling them that, exactly. So I think that's one aspect of why relationships fail. People not being honest with themselves about not being in the right mind state to be in a relationship. Other aspects, a big chunk is financial reasons. I think they say a big reason for divorce, like almost 50% of divorces are because of financial issues or financial problems. Somebody in the house who was a breadwinner loses a job, and then financial problems come in, and then that provides the crack that can just the whole foundation of the relationship starts to fall apart. So I think 1 is not being ready, 2 is financial reasons, and 3. I don't even know if there's a 3. I think those 2 are like the biggest reasons why I think relationships fail.
Yeah, I mean, I think that some fail because some people, like, it's the mindset. Some people still want to party. Like, what's the perfect girl if it's not the perfect time? Like, you may find that girl when you're, when you just turned 21, but you're like, oh, now I can go out to bars and clubs. I don't want to, settle down right now.
Right.
So I think that, it comes down to the mindset, and I think that some people still want to, like I said earlier, they want to party, they want to go out, they want to spend time with their friends, they want to do things like that. Like, they're not in that stage of their life where they want to settle down. Like, some people, like, when you're in high school and they have the yearbook thing, I think, that says, like, most likely to be married and have kids or something.
Yeah.
You look at everybody who was in a relationship in high school or even throughout college, like they missed out on a lot of things being in a relationship, going out to bars and clubs and, like go on, extravagant vacations. And you still can do that with having a girlfriend, but it's just a different experience, having it with your friends and stuff like that.
So quote unquote, you're talking about the whole phase, right? For guys too. Like people say that's just for girls. That's bull. You know what I mean? Guys like that, and that's just a phrase to summarize what we're talking about. You have to get that part of your life out of your system. You have to really see the world for what it is, because you don't want to end up regretting it, and then now you're in your late 30s,
I would have
having a midlife crisis. Now you know what I mean. You want to feel like you've lived your life and enjoyed life before you really settle down.
You got to trust the process.
A lot of people will disagree, but this is just my opinion. I think it's very important for men and women to, especially at a young age, 16, 17, 18, 19, like to be thinking about getting married. I mean, if you find that one,
Yeah.
by all means. But the numbers suggest that there's a lot more. There's a lot more to see and to experience in life before you just tie that knot.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
can't just turn 17 and be like, oh, I need to get into a relationship. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, some people can. And
Some people
I
can,
feel like
yeah.
times have kind of changed throughout the years. And I also feel like some relationships kind of get ruined because of social media influence.
Facts.
Like Instagram, like, oh, you didn't post a picture of me, or, oh, why'd you like this girl's photo? Or, this, that, why are you showing off too much skin, So I think social media is a really big influence.
I agree.
On either why relationships work or why they don't.
I agree.
Like
Definitely.
some people are scared to post a picture with this girl because like they're scared of commitment. They know like they're gonna lose all their other girls or all their other guys if they do post that picture, or they're scared of the feedback.
But if that's that's the one that you're gonna tie the knot with, or not tie the knot, getting married.
You gotta
but
know.
If that's your main, why would you worry about losing all your other girls?
Exactly.
Because you're supposed to lose your other girls already,
Yeah. I think that's what some people are scared of. Again, it comes back to the mindset of like, what are you looking for?
Got you.
Type of thing.
But I don't know. Maybe I might change in the future. But even when I'm only with somebody, I'm just not big on like broadcasting like my whole relationship and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, I feel the same way. I think that like, if all your friends already know about her and, you're with her all the time and, you could really see yourself with her, maybe after a year of being with her.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's only not appropriate to post a picture. But if you're still in that honeymoon phase of 6 months, like, I wouldn't even bother posting a picture.
Okay.
Like, there's no point. Like,
right.
You haven't really grown and gone through each other's imperfections and gone through that stages in order to know that that's the one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've kind of, the reason I fall back on it now is because I remember one time I was dealing with this girl and I liked her, didn't post anything on social media about her or nothing. We're dating for like 6 months, right?
The honeymoon stage,
right? Maybe in the 6th month or 7th month, I go ahead and put her on my gram. 2 days later, we break up. It wasn't because of that, but we just happened to break up, And I was like, son of a, like, as soon as I put her on the gram, broadcast it to the world,
you gotta make sure.
It's a wrap. Yeah,
you gotta make sure.
Yeah.
What are some what do you feel like are some good first date ideas for people?
I don't like the movie for a first date because you're not really talking. Mm-hmm. You're just. Like I like getting to know the person. So either if it's an eatery, somewhere to eat, I like daytime dates for the first time, going to the beach. I love going to the beach on the first date, like Venice or even Malibu, so you can just sit down, enjoy the waves, and talk and get to know each other. Mm-hmm. Maybe grab a bottle of wine, whatever the case is. So definitely something outdoors during the daytime, and not the movies. So somewhere to eat.
Top 3 places.
The beach is my top place. For women too, because when you're going on a first date for women, you want to be somewhere where there's a lot of other people, because there's a lot of creeps out here too. Like you don't know who you're gonna meet with. So the beach is good because there's a lot of other people. It's out in the open, for safety reasons. For women and men too. We got to be safe out here. But the beach is my number 1. My number 2 would be an activity, maybe. A skating rink? I haven't been there in a while.
Skating rink?
I haven't been there in a while, bro.
Skating rink?
If you have an active girl, man.
A skating rink?
Don't front like you didn't used to go to Skateland, bro.
Skating rink?
Don't front like you didn't used to go to Skateland.
A skating rink?
I'm telling you, man. Take a girl to skate.
Like, are we talking ice skating?
If it's December, if it's during Christmas time, that's perfect, bro. You don't think that's a perfect first date? If it's around November, December?
I don't even know how to skate.
You've never been ice skating, bro?
No.
That is the perfect. Bro, I took my little cousins that were here from San Diego. I took them to the LA Live, like this December, I think, this past December. And they had a great time. I was showing this to my little cousins. But I saw a lot of couples there. It's a great first date. Yeah. Not even a first date, just a date in general. You could be dating a girl, but it's a great, a lot of times you're going to be struggling to skate. She's going to be struggling. You know what I mean? So it's like a good experience together. Yeah.
I never float your boat, buddy.
Hey, man.
All right,
I'm giving you gems right here. I'm giving you gems.
What's number 3?
Oh, beach, skating rink. I don't like movies for the first date.
You gotta have more options than just two.
A lot of times on first dates, I'll feel the vibe. Like I may suggest like, we're going here, we're going there, but a lot of times I'll ask her what she wants to do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I always leave an option open for for her to make a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I leave that open.
Well, for me, I love going to Dave and Buster's on the first date.
Dave and Buster's is popping.
That's like my go-to, because I feel like you said, it's like there's other people around. You can have fun.
Yeah.
There's games, there's activities, there's food, drink, stuff like that. I mean, I don't drink or smoke, but there's still, they can drink and stuff like that, which is good. And it's just like a fun atmosphere. And I think a first date, you want it to be fun and get that first impression, because you can't make a first impression twice.
Gotcha, exactly.
So I think that first impression is important. So I think Dave and Buster's is great, because you can still talk and get to know the person, but still do it in like a fun,
playful setting.
Still
food there.
Yeah, stuff like that, and be able to sit, and you don't have to get a $300 dinner and have it only last 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Like with Dave and Buster's, you can, not only play games, but you can also eat dinner. Also,
a lot of girls like that though. A lot of girls like the $300 dinners. They want it.
Well, I mean, I don't mind. Like if I see myself with this person, and she has a lot of good attributes and stuff like that. Like, yeah, no problem. Like, I don't really care. Like, I don't really care what we do, and I like sitting down and having a good meal. Not just cooking at home all the time. But I would say Dave and Buster's would be my number one. And then number two would probably getting something to eat, like whether it be like Cheesecake Factory, it's like my favorite restaurant, or just any type of eatery,
Okay.
And I like sitting down, having a nice dinner, stuff like that. That would probably be my second one. And then third one would honestly maybe just be like a drive, like either a beach or like a viewpoint, something, check out a cool view, talk. I think good first dates are a place where you can talk, but there's also other things to do.
Exactly.
So like whether it be a view, whether it be, things of that sort.
Even museums like the Getty Museum or something.
I wouldn't go that far, but
I would go there. You gotta culture yourself, man. You gotta get some culture in that.
Yeah, or maybe like shopping or like the mall, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm taking somebody shopping.
How many days do you think until you feel comfortable saying, okay, you want to come inside, come check out my place?
If she's comfortable after the first date, she can come and hang. That's not saying, like, I'm not implying that we're necessarily gonna get physical.
Physical?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But no, I'm not saying we're gonna have sex or whatever. But that's just, if she's comfortable coming inside, we can just hang out some more. Like if we're really feeling each other's vibe, we can hang out, watch Netflix, chill. Yeah, so I don't necessarily see it as like, oh, it's like the 3-date rule, you know what I mean? But that's I think that's more of a
female thing.
Yeah, a woman.
Yeah.
A woman thing, which I totally understand. That's how they set standards by that.
It all comes down to your intentions.
Exactly. Yeah. So with me,
they may not even want to go on a date.
Yeah.
They may just want to come straight over to your house.
That's true too. True too. Yeah. So I think from that.
But I think the older we get, the more we want to still go out and do something.
True. I think that aspect of that question that you asked,
because we have money, we have a car, we have a house, we have these things that when you're a kid, 16, 17 years old, there's nothing really you can do. I mean, you're not making all this big money, you're not doing all that stuff. So the older you get, the more feel like fancier, the more money is spent on whether it be a first date or throughout the process.
That's right. That's true. And I was gonna ask you something when you were talking about Dave and Buster's. You had mentioned you don't drink and smoke, which I know. How much stock do you put in a female or a woman that drinks or smokes? Do you care? Do you mind?
I think that cigarettes are off the table. Mm-hmm. Any girl who smokes a cigarette is just, it's off.
Yeah, that's a deal breaker for you.
It's a deal breaker, 100%. Gotcha. I won't even consider it. I think smoking like weed and things of that sort.
That ganja
is also kind of a deal breaker for me because it's not something that I do. Mm-hmm. So I think smoking is a big deal breaker for me. Now there's some girls that will once in a blue moon smoke here and there. I still. Smoking is kind of a deal breaker. It's just not my it's just not me.
What if she does it for medicinal purposes?
I don't think that there's such thing as a medicinal purpose.
Whoa. Whoa.
I think that most people our age do it for like the pleasure and like the high and stuff like that.
What if
now maybe there is other people out there.
What if they use CBD products and they rub it into their joints?
I mean, I don't know about all that stuff. I think that drinking I'm fine with. Like they can drink. That's like it's a common thing. Like when I tell somebody that I don't drink, they trip out. Oh my God, never once, no, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, right. Like not even once.
Yeah.
Like,
that's usually
I said it 3 times already. Like. And I'm still able to have fun, go out. I mean, we went out plenty of times, and I'm always the DD designated driver.
Facts.
But I mean, I'm cool with it, But I think that it's okay for them to drink, but for them to get just wasted and hammered and blacked out,
yeah,
and, like stupid drunk, that's going too far.
That's another deal breaker.
Yeah, that's a deal breaker too. But yeah, I mean, you wanna be in a relationship with somebody that's like you. Because the more common things that you have with that person, the more the conversation is going to be better. The time spent with them is going to be better. So commonalities.
What about
are extremely important.
What about the old saying that opposites attract? Do you think that's true at all too? Because I've been with women who are very like-minded and we've had a great time, but I've also been with women who are like the complete opposite of me, and we've also had a great time because she's like so different, and she saw me as being so different, somebody totally out of her world, and like that's what drew her to me. You know what I mean? So I think either or can work. Yeah, what do you think?
I mean, I do feel that. Like I think the opposites can attract, but I think at the end of the day, you need to have some things in common.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think when they say opposites attract, I think, like, one person can have maybe not so flamboyant personality, and the other person could be more chill, calm, stuff like that.
Got you.
Something like that, I think, kind of work, because, like, two hyper people, it's not going to be as good. Like, I'm more of a hyper, active, type of person.
Right.
So, I think having my significant other being a hyperactive person wouldn't go well. So I think having a significant other that can also match your body or match your like personality is
right.
good, but having a calm person like, oh cool, kind of offset you to kind of bring you down a notch.
Okay.
But you can't have two calm people, you can't have two flamboyant people. Like you need to have a balance.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's good.
Yeah, so I mean, I think those are some of the good first dates. Those are the good, attributes. So I think we kind of went over, I think we went over a lot of good stuff. Is there anything else that you wanted to kind of talk about as regards to relationships? I know we touched on a lot of good aspects.
No, I think that's good, man. A lot of the DMs we got with the sub questions, I think we touched on. Let us know if we missed anything. We'll go ahead and then talk about it in the next episode where we filter it into whatever topic we're talking about. But yeah, man, we thank y'all for listening. We appreciate it. This is the Day and Night Podcast, episode 3 in the books. Mm-hmm. My guy, still social distancing.
Yeah.
We got that 6 feet, pounding only, no handshakes. And,
all right. Well, you guys have a good evening. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe and like and follow and all that stuff. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week. And just DM us or drop some comments like you did before to basically give us recommendations that we always enjoy talking about. Okay?
You dig.
Deuce.
Peace.